She was acting strange that night. The texts came in fast, filled with fear. But the last one stopped me cold. Don't let him in. Then, nothing. No replies. No updates. I thought maybe she was overreacting. Until I heard footsteps right outside my door. This isn't a ghost story, it's about something or someone terrifyingly real. And the mistake I made was not taking her warning seriously. My name is Tyler, and until 3 weeks ago I thought I knew my girlfriend Madison better than anyone else in the world. We'd been together for 2 years, living in separate apartments just 3 blocks apart. Madison was a freelance artist, working mostly at night, painting in her small studio in the attic. She'd always been a bit intense. She watched people more carefully than most, noticed details others would ignore. Sometimes it impressed me, other times it made me uncomfortable. But I loved that intensity about her. It all started on a Tuesday night. Madison called me around 11 p.m., whispering into the phone. "Tyler, there's been someone on the street for 3 nights straight." "What? What kind of someone?" "A man, tall, wearing a dark coat. He just stands under the streetlight across from Mrs. Chen's building, just watching." I sighed. "Madison, it's a busy street. People stop for all kinds of reasons." "For 3 hours, every night, in the same position." Her voice had a tension I'd never heard before. But I was tired, had an important presentation the next day. "Maybe it's just coincidence. If it happens again, take a picture, okay?" On Wednesday, she sent me the photo. A blurry image of a distant figure under a streetlight. Impossible to make out features, but there was definitely someone there. See, same time, same place. I zoomed in on the image but couldn't see much. Could be a homeless person looking for a safe spot. "Tyler, he's not homeless. His clothes are nice." And last night, I swear he looked directly at my window. I started to feel uneasy, but I was still rationalizing. Why would someone be watching your building? I don't know. But I have this horrible feeling. Madison started documenting everything obsessively. She created a notebook with times, descriptions, even sketches of the man. She discovered he appeared every night between 10:30 and 1:30 a.m., never used his phone, never smoked. Just stood there. I asked Mrs. Chen if she'd noticed anything strange, Madison told me on Thursday. She said she's seen that polite man asking about tenants in my building. That made me stop. Asking what specifically? Who lives in apartment? 4B, my apartment, Tyler. Now I was worried. Did you talk to the doorman? We don't have a doorman at night, and during the day he's not there. On Friday, Madison decided to confront the man. Against my protests, she went down at 11 p.m. "I'm not going to live in fear," she said. "I'm just going to ask what he wants." I stayed on the phone with her as she crossed the street. I could hear her nervous footsteps, her quickened breathing. "He's not here," she whispered. "The streetlight is empty." Maybe he gave up. No, Tyler. This is worse. Now he knows that I know. When she reached the streetlight, she found something that made my blood run cold. A small photo of me that I recognized immediately. It was a photo Madison had taken of me sleeping on her couch 2 weeks earlier. How did he get this photo? Madison was in total panic. "Madison, you need to call the police now." "And say what? That I found my own photo on the street?" She was right. It sounded crazy, but I knew it wasn't. "Come to my place. Now." "I can't leave my apartment. If he got this photo, it means he was inside my apartment, Tyler. He was inside my home." The realization hit us like a punch. Someone had violated Madison's most intimate space, had taken photos while she slept, and was now leaving gifts for her to find. Madison decided to set up an improvised camera pointing at the street. She used her laptop and an old webcam. She also changed all the locks and installed additional deadbolts. If he comes back, I'll have proof. Saturday night, we stayed up together on video call, watching the street through her camera. 10:30 passed. 11:30. At 11:47, he appeared. Even through the pixelated image, we could see clearly. A tall man, dark coat, walking calmly to the streetlight. But this time, he did something different. He waved at the camera. He knew we were watching. "This isn't random," Madison whispered. "He knows me." "What do you mean?" Look how he positions himself. He knows exactly where my window is, where the camera is. This is personal. We started going through Madison's life, trying to think of anyone who could be doing this. Ex-boyfriends, dissatisfied clients, co-workers. What about that guy from the gallery, I asked. You said he got weird when you rejected his work. Nathan Pierce, she murmured. But no, that would be too crazy. Madison, describe Nathan. When? She described Nathan. Tall, always wearing dark coats, knew intimate details about local artists' lives. The pieces started falling into place. Nathan Pierce had approached Madison 3 months ago, offering to represent her as an agent. She had politely declined, but he persisted. He showed up at her favorite cafe, knew details about her work that she'd never shared publicly. He said he had studied my work extensively, Madison remembered. At the time, I thought it was professional. Dedication. That was stalking from the beginning. Madison started searching for Nathan online. What we found was disturbing. He had no real digital presence. No official social media accounts, no professional website, just some vague mentions in art forums. Tyler, that's not normal for an art agent. We decided to set a trap. Madison would post on her social media that she'd be out of town the following weekend, visiting family. But actually she'd stay at my apartment. If it really is Nathan, he'll try to get into my apartment when he thinks I'm not there. We set up more cameras, one inside her apartment and another in the hallway. Sunday night, we put the plan into action. At 2:30 a.m., the cameras caught movement. A figure in dark clothing forced the lock on the building's main door. Our hearts raced when we recognized the silhouette. It was definitely the man from the streetlight. He went straight up to Madison's floor. Through the hallway camera, we watched Nathan standing outside Madison's door for several minutes, just listening. Then he pulled out a set of lockpicks and started working on the lock. He's good at this, Madison whispered, gripping my arm. In less than 3 minutes, he was inside. The internal camera showed us something that made us question everything we thought we knew. Nathan wasn't there to steal. He knew the apartment perfectly. He moved in the dark without stumbling straight to Madison's bedroom. He opened the dresser drawer and took something out, a key. Madison went pale. That's the spare key to my studio in the attic. How long has he had access to your studio? I asked. Madison was trembling. Months, maybe since we met. We realized that Nathan wasn't just stalking Madison, he was living a parallel life in her space. The attic studio was perfect, isolated, only visited by Madison, and with a direct view of my apartment. Tyler, Madison whispered, if he's had access to my studio for months, he knows everything about us. Our routine when you come over, when we go out together. He photographed you sleeping on my couch. He's been in my apartment too. The realization was terrifying. Nathan wasn't just obsessed with Madison, he was obsessed with our life together. We decided to go to Madison's studio and confront Nathan. We called the police first, but they said they'd need more evidence for an arrest. Let's document everything he's done up there, Madison decided. Then we'll have enough evidence. We arrived at the building at 3:30 a.m. The studio was on the top floor, accessible only by a narrow staircase. When we opened the door, we found something that still haunts me. Nathan had turned half of Madison's studio into a shrine dedicated to us. Hundreds of our photos covered an entire wall, photos taken through windows, at the grocery store, walking down the street. He had documented our entire life, but the most disturbing were the journals. Pages and pages of detailed observations about our habits, our conversations, which he'd heard through equipment he'd installed, even speculations about our intimate thoughts. We were so shocked we didn't hear the footsteps on the stairs. You shouldn't be here. We turned, and there was Nathan, blocking the only exit. He didn't look threatening. He looked sad, almost disappointed. Nathan, you need help, Madison said calmly. I was helping you, Madison. Protecting you. Tyler doesn't know you like I know you. He started talking about how he'd studied Madison, how he understood her art better than anyone, how I was corrupting her artistic vision. Madison discreetly sent a text message to her brother. Don't let him in, Nathan noticed. Who is he, Madison? Another one you're going to let hurt you? I realized Nathan thought Madison was referring to him, but she was warning about something else. Nathan moved toward us, but then we heard sirens outside. Madison had discreetly activated a safety app that automatically alerted police when it detected keywords in our conversation. "You ruined everything," Nathan murmured, but he didn't try to escape. He just sat down on the floor, surrounded by his documented obsessions. When the police arrived, we discovered the full truth. Nathan had been institutionalized before for obsessive behavior. He had stalked other women before Madison, always using the same methodology: professional approach, obsessive study, gradual invasion of privacy. The most disturbing discovery was that he had installed listening devices in both our apartments. He knew about our conversation, planning to confront him. He was waiting for us. "Don't let him in" wasn't about Nathan physically. It was about not letting fear, paranoia, and the violation of our privacy destroy our relationship. Madison and I moved to a new city 2 weeks later. Nathan was sentenced to 5 years in prison and mandatory psychiatric treatment. But sometimes, when I'm alone at night, I still check the locks twice. Because I learned that the most terrifying monsters aren't supernatural. They are terribly, frighteningly real, and they might be closer than you think. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content. And remember, always trust your instincts. They might save your life.